Ja, välkomna tillbaka. Då har vi fått kontakt med Irland och vi ska ju bege oss till Rugbyland och få träffa Jamie Walsh som är CFO. Och alla som har följt Kollect så vet att det har hänt en hel del i det bolaget under senare tid. Så vi kommer att få veta mer om det. Och vi kommer ju då att göra den här presentationen på engelska såklart. Och Q&A kommer också att vara på engelska. Så gärna era frågor om ni har några sådana på engelska. Tack. Då så Jamie, you can go ahead with your presentation and welcome to this Investor Day here in Sweden.
Thanks very much, Jan. Thanks for having me. As Jan may have introduced there, I'm the Jamie Walsh and the CFO of Kollect on Demand Holding, and we're listed on the Nasdaq First North in Stockholm. Kollect operates an online sustainable waste removal platform which connects domestic and commercial customers with licensed waste operators. Separately, we run a physical waste drop-off business, the big bins, with smart compactor bins which are placed in prominent and convenient locations which are available to our customers 7 days a week. We are in the waste industry, but we are not a waste company. So what that really means is we have the benefits of being in the utilities industry in that everyone creates waste, always has done, everyone always will do, but we're not a waste company. We're focused on the technology aspect of things and of the customer relationships, winning customers and managing those customer relationships. The process for disposing of waste has traditionally been analog, offline, with poor customer experience from old legacy companies, and this is the gap which Kollect fills. So as I discussed in the introduction slide, this is a graphic representation of our platform business, the first part of our platform business. What that does is it's the technology which connects waste companies, so that's our partners and our suppliers, with our customers on the other side. So we win the customers either online, on mobile, over the phone if needed. We meet the customers where they want to be met, and then we outsource that through the platform directly to our partners, our suppliers, who are the traditional waste companies. When we're talking about the platform business, the services that we provide are primarily to domestic and commercial customers. So that's households as well as businesses. And for businesses, that can be construction companies, it can be fit out companies, it can be builders. And the services that we provide are primarily steel containers, which in our language that we would call that a skip hire, a skip bag hire, which I know is in Stockholm, and man with a van junk removal, where guys with a van literally come to your house and remove bulky items such as sofas, furniture, garden waste, things like that you don't want. So when customers have those needs, they contact us, and we outsource that to our third parties. Underpinning our business model is on the platform side of things is this platform flywheel. And for us, as we have more customers on the platform, this leads to a higher number of orders naturally, which in turn leads to the higher number of orders then means that we have a requirement for more suppliers. We have more power with our suppliers, and it means we can then improve the customer choice. As a result of the previous step where we have more suppliers and more availability, that gives our customers greater choice, greater availability, first preference in some cases over other people's customers. And given that improved consumer choice, that then attracts more customers onto the platform who have their waste needs and helps us build that brand. When we have those additional customers back on the platform, that then kickstarts the flywheel again. It's probably important to address as well a very material transaction which we undertook earlier this year on the 4th of March. It closed. So when we're talking about the platform side of the business, the platform's about 80% of our overall revenues now following the disposal. The platform business, which has the steel containers, the man with the van, and the skip bag on it, used to also have a physical bin collection route, which is to say that we owned physical bin trucks and guys, and we had employed staff on those trucks to drive to people's houses and collect the wheelie bins that people would associate with the waste industry. That operated only in one city, which is our home city. And we, towards the end of last year, took a decision that we wanted to dispose of it because it was non-core for us. We see the future of our platform business being in the technology side of things, not with the onboarding and with the onboarding and outsourcing of jobs to our partners, not with the actual physical collection of waste ourselves. There's a number of reasons for this: the scalability and the availability of suppliers as well. In addition to the fact that we saw, pressures coming from drivers and staffing, insurance costs, fuel costs, everything like that. So we've now exited that, and because of our business model, we don't incur any of those costs directly ourselves, such as increased insurance and fuel, because it's outsourced to third parties. The structure of the transaction: we received 2.3 million euro upfront the day the business sold, which is approximately 25 million SEK at that point. It was paid all in cash upfront on the day, on the 4th of March. And we sold the business to Bopark, who are Ireland's largest waste company and who are very active in the waste space. They're actually one of our big partners, who we outsource a lot of our skips to, for example. So we have a very strong relationship with them, and this transaction supported that. On to the second part of our business, which is the big bin waste drop-off business. So previously we were talking about the platform business. The big bin waste drop-off business currently has 40 sites across Ireland, of a potential 300 sites we've identified. That's 300 potential sites in Ireland, though I do think there will be the opportunity in the future to expand this into other markets. The big bin is a compactor bin. It's a pay-to-use service which sits at these prominent locations. Customers walk up, pay their €8, and they log in via their online account or via a single-use code which they've received. They enter those login details. The drum of the bin opens. They enter their waste. The drum closes, and the customer leaves, having disposed of their waste at a reasonable price and with good traceability over where it's gone to. They have the bins themselves. It's a very attractive business for us. It's approximately 60% gross margins, and the bins are industrial in nature, but they're used for treatment of residential waste. So they have a very long useful life of approximately 20 years, well, at least 20 years. And operationally, there's very low operational running costs. Once a bin is on site, it sits there, operates, and is open and closed automatically by the entry of the code. We have deals with Circle K and other leading retailers in Ireland, where for us to place our bins on their forecourt sites. So that's very attractive pipeline growth for us. And at the end of 2021, by the end of 2021, we'd announced that we had placed orders for 20 new bins. Now, I should point out, to be built, there's a pipeline and a time lag for the bins to be built. And we placed that order. But I would point out, as I was about to say, that each new site requires 2 bins. There's 2 bins per site, both the general waste and a recycling, to make sure we're encouraging our recycling for all our customers. Importantly, there's no direct competitor in Ireland. We're the only business in Ireland which has the relevant approvals and authority, and that's the technology in the bins themselves, which manages the accounts and the weights and the treatment of the waste and things like that. We're the only company who has that approval, so it's some form of competitive protection for us. Kollect as a whole, though, exists because the process for disposing of rubbish and waste has traditionally been painstaking. There are few digital options. There's a lack of informational sustainability, what actually happens to the waste, and poor relationships between waste companies and their customers. Our online platform, this is talking about the online platform, places jobs with preferred suppliers who provide a quick, seamless, transparent user experience in an industry that has lacked customer focus. Something I'll touch on in a little bit is that traditionally the waste companies are old legacy businesses focused on waste collection, not focused on customer acquisition, customer retention, and managing that customer relationship. And that's where our focus is, that sort of 21st century focus. We believe there's a significant market opportunity as the industry transforms. So similar to the point above, where we estimate less than 1% of waste services are online, just again, speaking to the old legacy nature of it, compared to 15% as a general sort of e-commerce rules. We believe over time, there would be a natural uptake in the level of waste services which are booked online. And I think we're very well positioned to take advantage of that. So to give a bit of color as to how we're different from those legacy operators, I think it's important, and I've touched on this a few times, but we meet the customers where they want to be met. We let them order how they want to order, and we facilitate the jobs when the customer wants the jobs. So traditionally, the booking process over the phone, it's a poor online process. It's sort of yellow pages, find a local provider that way, and that's how the operators like to have things because it was easy for them. For us, we make our bookings to suit the customer. We make it as easy as possible for the customer to book. And part of that is developing a best-in-class website, which we're continuing to invest in as we speak. And we're in the middle of a significant investment in a new e-commerce project, which we're hoping to roll out in Q3. The fulfillment process and actually making the bookings, as I touched on, the bookings are made to suit the provider. For a legacy company, if you ring them and they don't have availability on Thursday when you need your booking, well, tough luck, they're coming on Friday. With Kollect, we have nearly 1,000 5-star reviews online, which really speaks to the importance of customer service for us and the flexibility that our model can provide to customers because we have multiple partners in any area. There's also good credibility. We're very transparent. We're ESG focused. And we're a well-known, reputable company, so we're always trying to provide our customers with as much information about where their waste goes, how it's treated as possible. That's not always the case with legacy operators. And importantly, with the fulfillment process, and this is particularly important when we're talking to our commercial customers, if a commercial customer, so that could be a construction company, signs an agreement with only with one waste company, if that waste company fails them or can't fulfill a job for whatever reason, that can be have a very significant impact for the customer. For us, we have a network of suppliers. The commercial customer's contract will be with us, with Kollect. So when we're outsourcing to a provider, if that partner, or if that provider, if they can't provide the job, well, that's not the customer's problem, that's our problem. And we've got a network of other suppliers who are ready to step in and fulfill that job instead of that one. So we're making sure the customer isn't left and we're protecting that relationship. I think it's also important to address the differences between the Irish and Swedish waste market. In Ireland, the Irish market is totally privatized. We have adopted a polluter pays attitude, which is to say that households and businesses are individually responsible for the removal of waste. That is that they have a direct relationship with their waste company. They pay their waste company directly. The councils and the municipalities, they are a regulator and they have that authority, but they are not involved in the collection or the disposal of waste themselves. Within Ireland, there is also a low level of apartment living, which means there's no shared waste facility, again, adding to the fact that everyone is responsible for their own waste. And suppliers are also concentrated regionally. There isn't dominant national providers, which is provides an opportunity for the brokerage that we are providing. That is also attractive to our commercial customers, because if we were to say in the southeast there are 4 providers, and in the southwest there are another 7 providers in the southwest, but a commercial customer might have construction sites, for example, in both the southeast and the southwest. All of a sudden, they have to deal with different invoice terms, different points of contact, different account managers. All of those different touch points are different for that customer. But when they're dealing with Kollect, we already have the established relationships with those providers. We're already dealing with those providers on a daily basis, so we manage that for our customers. Again, taking the pain out of their lives. I touched on earlier competition in the industry. We're estimating it's less than 1% is online, of waste bookings are online, compared to 15% of the general e-commerce all across different industry. The industry is split into small competitors, and that's our partners and our providers. They don't have the resources to compete with our digital investment, our digital team, and our infrastructure there. The large players, they're more concerned with fulfillment and the treatment of waste. They're legacy companies who've been around for decades, and what they understand is how to collect and treat waste, not how to onboard and win customers, retain and manage that journey. We built a much needed solution to the clunky, outdated, painful process of removal. And as I spoke about, multiple suppliers give greater coverage and greater comfort to our customers. So in Ireland, more than 10 billion SEK is spent every year on waste. We've got more than 90 partners on our platform who we're able to outsource to, and we serve more than 1,200 customers through the platform every month. And despite where we're at the minute, that's still less than 1% of the total market. So we think there's a great opportunity for us to grow. The fragmented UK market also provides further opportunity, and we'll touch on that in a minute. We're over in the UK at the moment, but Ireland is our primary market, and that's our home at the minute. As I discussed, in Ireland, 10 billion SEK spend every year. There's regional concentration, and we Kollect are establishing new verticals. Primarily with this is the man with the van junk removal, which is an established vertical in Australia, in the UK, and in America, but it's new to Ireland, and we're at the forefront of establishing that. The UK is a bigger market. 100 billion SEK is spent every year, and the supply side over there, which is obviously very important for us as we're growing over there, is highly fragmented. 80% of companies in the waste industry have fewer than 10 staff. So that fragmentation provides us a good opportunity for the aggregation on the supply side of the platform. But all the verticals, they're already well established over there. Long term, our vision is to continue to develop technology behind our platform and to continue to expand our services for waste disposal. I've spoken a lot about our relationship with our customers and how important that is for us. And retaining our 5-star customer service is certainly one of our key objectives as we continue to grow. We have nearly 1,000 5-star reviews online, and that's something we're very proud of. And it's a very important marketing tool as well for us. We're also going to look to build a strong presence in new and existing markets. We want to improve the immediate removal of waste with full traceability for our customers, so that that's improving the service that we offer our customers. We also want to become the go-to platform, the recognized brand for waste, so that when you think, I need to listen to music, you log on to Spotify, or when you think I need a place to stay when I go on holiday, I go to Airbnb. In a similar way, when people have a waste need, regardless of whether it's a skip or it's a man with a van, whatever the need is, we want to become the brand recognized in our industry, that people know that I will have this job done to a very high standard, on time, exactly as I'd like it to be. A question we're often asked, though, because we're an Irish and UK-based company, is why we are listed in Sweden, especially when we don't have any Nordic activity. The first of these was the availability of capital, and I think the graph, based on a study that we did on the right-hand side there, really highlights what that is. Nearly €3 billion was raised in Q2 on the Nasdaq Nordics of 2021. Last year, that same comparative period, Irish venture capital and IPO listings was 128 million. So there's a vast, vast difference there. The Swedish market is also aligned with our sustainability goals, and as people who understand that part of our mission, I think Ireland, we're probably a few years behind Sweden in that regard, so it's important for us to be aligned with our listing. There's also obviously a sophisticated investor base and comparable companies for people to sort of rank us against and to understand our business model. The opportunity to list and have a share incentive scheme for our staff, also important. We believe that provides a long-term investment in the company from our staff, and also to give us the NASDAQ branding, which, as we've been growing our commercial business very quickly, it provides that credibility. And certainly in the waste industry, that's a very valuable tool. So the leadership team, our board, is comprised of 4 people. Johnny Fortune is the chairman. He's got a very strong IPO experience, having listed on the, he was the first Irishman to list a company in the NASDAQ main market over in New York. That was Skills Software. He was the CFO there for a number of years, grew from 20 staff to 2,000 staff, then went on and became a very prominent corporate financier in Dublin. Melissa Okulahan is the non-executive director. He has strong IPO experience. He's an entrepreneur himself and also a qualified barrister. John O'Connor, he's the CEO of Kollect, the largest shareholder, and has been in the waste industry for 10 or 15 years now, and he's got very good contacts, very good relationships with all of the main providers and suppliers in the waste industry. And we also have Stefan Wickstrand, who's a non-executive director, who is the G5 Entertainment CFO, listed on the NASDAQ main market and likely familiar to many of you. Just a bit of background and financial information. Here we have historic revenue from continuing operations and how it's grown quarter on quarter, split between recurring and non-recurring revenue. From Q2 2020, you can see the focus on recurring revenue and that the impact on growing the commercial side of our business that we've had. We just released our Q1 results this week for the quarter. And you can see there's 42% growth in revenue compared to the same quarter last year. I just point out that all of those figures there, they're revenue from continuing operations, which is to say that we've extracted the bin business, which we disposed of on the 4th of March. All of those revenues have been taken out of both the figures and the graph there. Just to finish with an important point on our ESG narrative and how do we address that as a company. We reduce emissions through more efficient collection. So when we're routing our partners' orders and when we're talking to them through the technology, we're making sure that that's done in an efficient manner as possible, so we're reducing the carbon footprint of our customers that way. Trash to Treasure is an exciting partnership we launched with the upcyclers. So when we take on some old kitchen cabinets, rather than disposing of that, for example, and it being turned waste to energy or recycled or anything like that, we can actually take it to a specific upcycler who can then give that unit new life and sell. And Trash Share is actually a charity, so there's a charitable contribution to that. We were also key players earlier on in our Sustainable Nation Ireland and the Climate Kick program, and we also offset all of our collections, all of the mileage that is done by our collections by ensuring we plant in new trees so that carbon is offset. So thank you very much, and that ends the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Jimmy. We know more about Kollect now. For a year ago, you implemented a new strategy, the 2024 program. Can you tell us something about where you are there?
Yeah, so, and thanks, Jan. The 2024 strategy is very important for us. It's going to help us grow our business, and it's going to help us grow it in an efficient manner. A big part of the strategy was to refocus on the platform side of the business as well as the big bin business. But focusing on that platform business, one of the big drivers for us is going to be this new e-commerce project that we're launching in Q3. We've invested significantly over the last couple of quarters at the end of Q4 and in Q1. We're continuing to invest in Q2 in it. And we're excited that will help. The benefits to the business will be manifold in that it will improve our back-end operational efficiencies, but it will also improve the customer journey, will encourage customers to book online, and will also then give us more information about our customer profiles and how we can best retain those relationships with them. So we're very excited as to how that strategy is progressing, and I think the 42% year-on-year revenue growth is a good start that we announced earlier this week.
So do you think that 40% is something that you can hold for 2022, or is it too low? Will it be more?
It's something we're very pleased with, I would say. It's right in and around the range that we've often been in, and so that's between anywhere from 35 to 45%. I think has been very achievable for us in the past, and we'd be looking to deliver the same going forward.
Yes, growth is important for you, but also you need to do something about your cost. Is there anything in this program that you can tell us that you have been doing to get the lower cost base?
Yeah, of course. So, and that's certainly a very important focus for us. As we're growing as a business, to make sure we're doing it in an efficient manner. And that was one of the pillars of our 2024 strategy, was the continued investment in technology to make sure that that's actually lowering costs as we grow, so that we can scale more easily, so that we need fewer staff. That's a huge, one of our biggest cost areas is our headcount. And so for us to continue to invest in technology will mean that we're able to grow and scale faster without adding staff. I think there's obviously a lot of noise in the most recent report around our expenses, because we had one-off transactional expenses associated with the bins, the disposal of the bins. But as I think over the next couple of quarters, as we're able to solidify the shape of the company, we will be in a strong position to manage our costs, and as we continue to grow, obviously, but to be managing our costs towards that path to profitability.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. We have to stop there. I wish you good luck with this, and hope the rugby season will be fine for Ireland as well.
So do we. Thanks, Ken.
Well, you did great at the Six Nations Cup, I guess.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.